Welcome back, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into the astrology for April 26th, 2025, looking closely at insights from Tarot by High C.
Hello. Yes, we're focusing on the main energies shaping the day, trying to understand what they might bring up for you.
And it looks like there are two quite different things happening, a morning setup and then something, well, much bigger later on.
That's right. A real contrast. We've
Yeah.
got this sort of helpful morning window followed by a much more intense dynamic energy building through the day.
Okay, let's start with the morning then. The source mentions the Aries moon sextile Jupiter, a brief window of opportunity, they call it. What does that actually feel like?
Well, think of it as a little energetic boost, a moment where confidence might feel easier to access. Maybe you feel a bit more generous or open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good for seeing the bigger picture, maybe starting something that needs a bit of courage, or just looking at things with a slightly more optimistic lens, a bit of luck, maybe.
So a good time to tackle something you've been putting off?
Potentially, yes. Leverage that feeling while it's there, because the source is pretty clear that it's somewhat fleeting.
Right, because then things shift. It mentions momentum decreasing and building towards robust, explosive, potentially destructive energy. That sounds significant.
It really does. It signals a major gear change in the day's feel. That earlier ease kind of fades, and this pressure starts to mount.
And this is all leading up to the main event, right? This Mars opposite Pluto transit.
Exactly. That's the core astrological feature today. An opposition generally points to tension, a standoff between two planetary energies, and Mars and Pluto. That's a powerful combination.
And this isn't the first time recently, is it? The source flags this as the third time in about 6 months.
Yes, which is quite unusual. Happened around November 3rd and again around January 2nd. This repetition suggests we're really working through these specific themes right now.
Themes of power, I imagine. The source mentions links to dramatic events and powerful visceral reactions from those earlier dates. Should we be prepared for that sort of intensity?
The potential is definitely there. The source uses the phrase mythological-level tension. So think big themes playing out. Clashes of will, maybe ultimatums being issued, or just feeling this intense internal push to make a big move.
Right, that feeling like something has to change.
Precisely. And power dynamics are absolutely central. Who has the power? Who wants it? How it's being used or abused? That's likely to be very visible today.
Okay. And emotionally, what does that stir up? The source mentions strong reactivity, anger, feeling things very intensely, almost physically.
That visceral quality is key. It can also bring up feelings of being controlled or powerless or dealing with someone else who seems to be on a power trip, as they put it.
Yeah, that's a relatable feeling, unfortunately. And the source points to the less constructive side of this, too.
It does. It highlights the potential for things like blind ambition getting out of hand, arrogance needing to be the center of attention, even outright aggression or intimidation.
So, wanting power for its own sake, maybe using fear, feeling entitled, maybe not showing much compassion. It sounds like a tricky energy to navigate in relationships or work.
It certainly can be. There's a real risk of acting impulsively, that raw Mars energy, without fully considering the Pluto level consequences, which can be deep and lasting. That's where the destructive potential comes in.
Okay, so if this is the backdrop, how do we handle it? The source gives some advice, starting with staying calm and aware of our own reactions.
That's the foundation, really. Just noticing, am I getting triggered? Am I reacting disproportionately? That pause is crucial. It gives you choice.
Instead of just lashing out.
Exactly. And then it's about channeling that assertive Mars energy responsibly, leading with purpose, not just pride or ego. Can you be strong without being aggressive?
That's a fine line sometimes.
It is. The advice also includes refusing to get drawn into toxic power struggles. Sometimes, the best move is just to step back.
Disengage from the drama.
Yeah,
Choose your battles, perhaps.
right. Focus on the impact you want to have long term, not just winning a short term fight fueled by impulse. And importantly, humility.
Humility. How does that fit with Mars and Pluto?
By detaching from the ego's need to dominate or be right, focusing instead on what's genuinely beneficial, maybe for everyone involved, rather than just personal gain. It's about perspective.
Got it. So, summarizing the day, a potentially bright spot in the morning, use it wisely, followed by a much more intense period where power, control, and transformation are major themes.
Pretty much. The key seems to be navigating that intensity with awareness, calm, and a focus on responsible action rather than knee-jerk reactions.
Which leads to a final thought for you listening.
Yeah.
How might understanding these undercurrents, the helpful morning vibe, the intense power plays, later give you a different lens on your interactions and choices today? Something to consider.
Yeah, it's not about predicting specifics, but understanding the energetic weather you're walking through. It can definitely help.